All right, thank you for joining. So, in this session, we will discuss about Azure board and agile process. So, we will discuss a lot of things that related with how to create better software requirement with Azure board by adopting agile process. So, after these sessions, we'll understand several aspects that really important to build a good software. So, let's get started. So, in this today's sessions, I will discuss about user story. Yeah, user story is the most important things in agile process, and we will discuss how the user story is developed and how to implement in Azure board. I'm Ridi. I'm Microsoft MVP for 19 years, and let's get started. Agile plays Azure board. It's mean productivity. Whether you're building a software, creating a mobile apps or web apps, you can use Azure DevOps, including the Azure board, to building a software that fulfill the requirement for the users. As a refreshers, you might be already know about Agile, especially Agile process. Agile process means we build a software pieces by pieces by doing a full cycle of software development life cycles and creating incremental software results. So it's mean the development of software is already seeing the value in the first chapters of our iterations. Yeah, we name it iteration, but some of them say it about sprint, so it's similar. Agile life cycle is iterations, evolution, and incrementals. Yeah, before we run into Azure board in Azure DevOps, we need to understand several agile work items. So there is several jailbreak item in Azure that board that you need to understand. The first thing first is about epics. Epics is a large body of works, and each epic consists of several features. Features is core functionality of a software, maybe creating some documents or maybe printing documents. And after that, we have a user story. User story is user describe the user need from the user perspective. Each features have several user stories and it providing clarity, desired outcome experience. And when we build a user story, we do several technical tasks or administration tasks. We name it as tasks. Yeah. It can be creating a method or maybe creating a database structures or anything else. So this is a basic uh, models of the agile work item in Azure. So let's do some demonstration. We'll setting up our agile project in Azure DevOps. So I already logging into the Visual Studio, especially Azure DevOps project. So I creating a new project here, and I gave a name Azure Back to Schools 2025, and I create some private projects. I'm using version control kit, and I will use agile work item process. So I just click create, and after that we can create the project itself. So basically, this is a quick and similar process, just like creating a project in Visual Studio. So after that, we can invite our friends by clicking or by searching the names or doing some project setting configurations. For example, I want to set the Azure board models, this one, project configurations. You can see we can change several things such as iterations. We can put the dates, so I will put date this one, and let's put some 2 weeks models and save and close. And after that, we can create another dates, and it will automatically follow the iterations lengths that we already create before. So basically, we already know the agile built by iteration, pieces by pieces, and you can see also several configurations such as team configuration. So in team configurations, we want to activate the epics. So by default, epic is not activated yet. So we click epics to make it activate. And after that, you can search or can choose the working days, and this is the most important one. This is also important. Working with bugs. So it's mean, is it bugs are tasks or bugs is a requirement? I choose bugs are managed with tasks because maybe it's below the user story. So let's go back to the Azure boards. So this is the menu. Yeah, you can see the boards right there. So we click work items. Work item is a list of items that you need to solve or to work with your teams, while board is a way to visualize the items into a Kanban board. So Kanban board is a way in Agile to understand the workload of a teams and also workload for a personals. So there is a backlog also. Backlog is list of the work item that you need to map into your iteration. So this is we already have three iterations, and sprints is our focus when we create a software for a small release. Query is a way you need to understand the status of the project, so you can pin it or you can use it as a basics to understand the velocity for the project. For examples, delivery plans is a new features in Azure board where you can create a plans that already communicate with the customer. So it's just like alignments or agreement with the customers with their expectations. And analytic views is a views that what are your developer doings or something like that. Okay, so this is basic menu of a board, and we will start in work items. Think an epic as a way to describe huge visions of your products. For examples, you want to create a books application that give a new experience for the students. Your epic might be a books application for web apps, for examples. So in this description, you can put any visions of your product. It can be a product requirement, for example. You can put product requirement here, business requirement here. So basically, ethics consists of just two ways. The first one, the vision and the mission. The vision may be integrated with the business requirement, while the missions will be put in product requirements. So after that, we can create a safe and books application for web apps. So I give you a simple examples about books application for web apps. We have a business requirements. This, as you can see, we have a business requirements such as make the reading experience comfortable, read like a paper, write like a books, support many learners with visual, auditory, and read learning model. Also, we can put a product requirement over there. So we can put your mission so the books application will be successful. After you have create business requirement and product requirement, you can put a save in books application for web apps, and we can back to the work item. So we have an epics this one. So the most interesting part is how Azure board doing some work breakdowns structures between epics features and user story. As you can see, if I create a new can visit backlogs, for example, and after that I change the view in epics. This one, as you can see, we already create an epics, and if we click the add, there is information we can add features. So this is interesting because Azure DevOps is already know the structures of the agile models. So we will create some features here. I already create two features. The first features in managing storage for books library. So it's mean users can put any books in and creating some libraries. And we have two features. The second feature is managing theme for books reading experience. So if you can see, the features is starting with the verb ings, right? So is present continuous tenses, while the epics is complete sentences. Yeah, this is a quick way to make your features and epic consistent. So if I click the managing feature storage for books library, you will see a description here. You can put anything that user expect for these features. And I already create the ones that might be completed. For example, this managing theme for book reading experience, it should be able to choose between light, dark, blue filters, and book theme. Be able to turn on animation and sound. Be able to change the font size, space, and type of the font. So this is a features, and we need to describe the features into the most usage scenario oriented models. We name it as a user story. So if I click the features, you can see it will add a user story. Yeah. Before we deep dive into Azure board and creating some user stories, so since this session focusedly on the user story, you should know how to create effective user story. Effective user story, it has a clear structures. So this is not a fundamental requirement. So you don't need follow this template, but following this template will help you to make it more consistent. The template will be as actors or users. I want to do some actions so that it has a benefit. User story structure should be like this. It should provide a value for the users. Should provide what an action that be done by the users. And the user story itself is not built by the product owner itself. It helps a customers or team communicate with others, even with the customers. Yeah, for example, in extreme programming, user story is built together by the customers and the agile teams. And the last but not least, user story should consist development prioritized. So you should put some kind of estimation in the effective user story format. And the good news is Azure board, especially a part of Azure DevOps, has a lot of features that related with the user story. It can help you automations, for example, some developer push the code and it has related with the user story or tasks. It has enhanced team collaboration. You can do communication with the Azure board by using comment sections. You can understand the progress of the user story. So Azure board really helpful for agile project management. And when we discuss about Azure board, there is each step that you can do in Azure board in order to manage your agile projects. We already done managing epics. We already do create some features, and after this, we will create the user story and tasks. Uh, if you see the green box, it's mean the green box will be described or run in another video. So we'll discuss it in another video. So our focus on this today's session is only the 1 till 4 sessions. So without a future ado, let's create some story, and after that, creating a task to make sure this session is complete. So let's get started. User story is part of features. So when I click the plus sign in backlog, you can see add a user story. I put some user story, for example, as a readers, I can change them in configuration menu so that I can change my theme preference or I can change my user's experience. Okay. Now, this user story can be fine, but my suggestion is you can copy this user story and put in this description while in the title of the user story, keep it simple. I move the sorted clause. So this is my user story. A user story is not only this kind of models. You need to put the real usage scenario for that. My suggestion is put in description. So in the description, you can add the activity that reader do when change the time. For example, reader visits the configuration mode. Okay, and after that, a system display configuration page. Readers looks theme section. Okay, reader can change theme sections. Theme sections drop down list, for example. Readers can change, okay, the font, okay, size, okay, type, and what is it? Uh, Space. System will display the preview of the theme and font. Okay. So this is descriptions of user story. You have the user story titles and also the usage scenario below in the descriptions. And the last but not least, the most important thing is acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria means how these features or how this user story can be accepted by the users. For example, when the readers click preview, they will see their books in the selected themes and font. Acceptance criteria will help the developers to understand the definition of done of these features. Also, you can put a lot of acceptance criteria in one user story. For example, when the reader click apply, okay, the systems will save the current configuration in database. The acceptance criteria will help the testers, also the developer teams, to understand the behaviors of the user story. And beside of that, we can put story point and the race and also the classification, but we will discuss it in next sessions of this uh, Azure Back to Schools. So I will put save and close. Yes, as you can see, we have a user story. If we click the sign in add user story, you will have two choices. The first choices is tags. The second one is bugs. The bug itself can be moved into the features or into the tags. So in these settings, we put tags and bugs is in similar levels, and I'm agree with that. So what is a tax? Task is more technical activity that you need to develop. For example, create a table to store the theme. Okay, for example, this one. So I can put create tables. The task itself might be assigned to a people's, while the user story might be assigned to the product owners or agile project managers. So it's mean you can put any tasks beneath the user story that related with your team. For example, for designer, I need to create a theme preview managers dialogue, for example. Yeah, as you can see, a lot of tasks that will be delivered to the customers. So this is a backlog. This is structures of your agile project in Azure board. You can creating starting by epics, feature, user story, and tasks. What happen if I create another books application for mobile? In order to do that, you can create a new epics. You can create a new epics in a work item, and you can create an epics there. But on these sessions, I only focus you to understand the structures of a user story. And how about the bugs? Yeah. The bug itself can be defined by yours or can be triggered by the test plan. So we have also a good features in Azure boards, namely a test plan. And test plan can create bugs when the bugs is happen, and they can put the related user story. The user story itself can be related with other user story. You can add a new existing item or new items that related with this user story. For example, this user story is related with the setting menu or configuration menu. You can add that. So there is also a selections of your user story, while you can create another user story that's related with each others. So what we need to do this? The answer is because when we build a software, we might need to choose which user story that we need to solve first, and after that, when what the dependency between user story. So this is quite interesting when you have a user story that relate each others or have a complexity for your systems. For example, I want to create another user story. This one as a readers, uh, I can open configuration menu so that I can change the app behavior. So I copy paste into the description. I cut the so that so um, the user story is much more readables. Yeah, and after that I can do a usage scenario. But the things that I wanted to do is we can create add links or existing items. So we can set relations between this user story and the others. Okay, so the relation also can be changed. There will be a parent, for example. This is a parent, and configuration menu is a parent, while the user story, yeah, okay. But as you can see, work item 0 already has a parent, so a new one cannot be added. So you can put a related also, so it can be related each others. Yeah, so I can create this one, and so I can put save and close. Yeah, so the features, the user story now can consist of several features. Yeah, as you can see this one. Yeah, if I collapse this one, yeah, if I collapse this one, yeah, okay, looks great. So So that's all for these sessions. We will have a next session in a couple days about user story deep dive in Azure board. I will give you another explanation about how to estimate the user story, how to make sure the user story can be monitored by your team by using Kanban board. We also will discuss about delivery plan, and we will integrate the user story with the Visual Studio. Hopefully, this session will helpful, and thank you so much for attending the sessions. You can scan the QR code to visit my YouTube channels so we can discuss about anything that related with the Azure DevOps. Thank you so much and see you next time.